Hey there, welcome to the show. Something that I've learned in my digital marketing career and being an online entrepreneur is people very rarely will remember what you do or what you say, but more so how that affects them and how that makes them feel. And one of the most powerful things that I've learned specifically in my network marketing career or in anything at all where really you need to make sales is if you can authentically connect with your prospects, there's no doubt about it, you're just going to make more sales. So today I want to give you 3 tips on how to better connect with your prospects online. A digital space can be kind of unpersonal, but it's up to you to make it personal to be able to get that connection. So obviously you can have better relationships. Better relationships lead to what? More sales. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome to the show. My name's Tanya Aliza, and I've been in the network marketing profession since 2009, and I built my business 100% online using digital marketing and my automated selling and recruiting systems. I've built a multiple 7-figure brand, and I say that to say that this stuff works if you go out and implement it. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to get subscribed to this show so you don't miss an episode. Each week I come out and I give you free tips, training, advice, anything that's working in my business, and I also like to accompany that with some sort of free resource that can help you take your business to the next level. Before I discovered the world of network marketing and digital marketing, I used to actually work as a finance specialist for an automotive group, specifically an automotive group by the name of Mori Automotive Group in North Vancouver, Canada. So shout out to Mori. It was a fabulous job. I did amazing there. I worked with some incredible people. And I remember this one instance. Now, obviously, over the last 6 years of being a finance specialist, so many things have happened, right? You'll have 50 million different events that happen, but there's very few that I remember. And this is one of them. I remember that we had this gal named Anna, and she was working in our finance department. So I worked downstairs. I had an office on the floor of the dealership, and there was an upstairs portion, and this is where the big boss, Steve, had his office. And then we also had the finance department, and they had like their little cubicles in this one room, and they had a lot of fun up there. I loved those ladies up there. And there was this one girl named Anna, and she was the sweetest Filipino gal. And she ended up getting pregnant, and her husband were going to have a baby. So obviously, as she was going on her maternity leave, it was one of her last days, everybody got together and we put a little card together for her. And then we also put some baby stuff in this basket, and we all kind of like wished her well. And on her very last day, she came down to say thank you to everybody. And I remember she came into my office, and my office had 2 doors. One of the doors was behind me. So it was like the back door where like the finance department or any of the sales guys or any of my colleagues could come into the office without coming into the front door of my office. And then I had the front door of the office, which faced the showroom of the dealership. And so I had her knock on the door in the back door, and she came in. She realized I didn't have any clients. She came in and she just was saying her goodbyes. And she said, "Thank you so much for everything. It was great working with you." And we said, "Yes, have a great, maternity leave." And up in Canada, where I used to work, we used to get 1 year maternity leave. So she was going to be gone for a while, and we didn't never know if we would ever see Anna again. And so I remember giving her a hug that said goodbye. Now, here's the thing. People hug each other to say hello and goodbye all the time. This isn't something new in our human race, right? We always have these hugs. But there is something special with when you have that hug that is just different. And so with Anna's, I'll never forget this hug. She held on. Like, I never really grew up in a house where people were really touchy-feely. It just wasn't a thing in our household. We would get our hugs and, kisses, but it wasn't a thing, right? Physical touch was not something that I learned until later on in my adult years. And so when she hugged me goodbye, I remember her holding onto that hug for an extra 3 seconds or 5 seconds. And I felt a genuine connection to Anna. I was like, oh, like this felt like she really cared. Like she was really saying thank you. Like it wasn't an inauthentic, like, oh, I just got to hug you because everybody else hugs and I've just got to say goodbye. It was like she really, really meant it. Now, this has impacted my life in a huge way. And I remember how that made me feel. And so I said, wow, to myself, if this made me feel very connected to Anna, so much so that many years later, like over 15 years later, I think it is by now, almost 15 years later, I still remember that occurrence because of how it made me feel. And she made me feel like connected. Like this was an authentic, a very authentic connection. So it changed my life in such a way that now when I actually like, obviously you've got to mean it. Like don't go out just hugging weird strangers and people and doing this if you don't mean it. But if somebody gives you a hug hello or a hug goodbye and you really genuinely like that person, you want to connect with them, hold on for an extra 1 to 2 seconds. You would be amazed what happens with the physiology and with the connection that you're going to get with that person. And they might not say it. Sometimes I've even had people say, oh, that's a really nice hug. But most of the time they won't say anything, but I guarantee you it will make them feel more connected to you. It will make them feel really special. And remember, people remember how you make them feel, not what you say or do. So the question becomes is, how do you do this in a digital world? Like we're not seeing our prospects in person most of the time. So how do we do that through text message or through Messenger or through all of the automated means that we have these days? The moral of the story with me here in my connections that I have with people, and I've learned to be different over the years. I wasn't always like this, but when I am in conversation, I try to remember that it's not about me. It is actually about the person that I am having a conversation with. And if we can take business just off the table for a split second, yes, I love to get to the point. I love business more than anything. But if we can just take that off of the table for a moment and we can insert something that we genuinely care or want to learn about them or want to figure out about them or like learn about them and make them feel special and valued and they matter in some way in our world, this will make you stand out in an extremely fast-paced digital world these days where not a lot of people, not a lot of marketers, not a lot of salespeople are actually doing this. And I always say like relationships first, business second. So my philosophy is if you have strong relationship, the business is going to be 10 times stronger. So focus on building that stronger connection. Ask them about the things that they know that are going on with them. I had a text message today from one of my teammates, and I know that she's going through a lot with her family right now. The reason why I had to connect with her today was business initiated. I had to ask her a question about business, but I made sure that I started the conversation with saying, hey, how's that? And I was very specific, but I'm not going to share here what it was, but I was like, hey, how's that family stuff that you're dealing with going? Is everything okay? Is there anything that I can do? By the way, the reason that I needed to reach out is XYZ. And I did share my business point, but it shows that I actually care and I'm a human and it makes them feel good. And when people feel good, they are more connected to you. And I promise you, it will increase your sales and help you to make more sales in general. So that's number one. Number two, which I'm also learning how to get better at myself, is smile more. And yes, your smile comes through a computer screen, a text message, a voice message, or heck, even in your posts and in your marketing. People don't want to be around people that are too serious, that are grumpy, that might not be very warm and welcoming. And immediately the inflection of your voice changes, your attitude, the energy of the conversation changes when you smile more. I am a very serious person by nature, and so sometimes I can forget to smile. And then when I listen back to some of my voice messages where maybe I was like, just trying to get to the point without having that fun and good energy that I bring to it, I listen to it and I go, oh man, that sounds horrible. And then every time I remember, okay, smile. I have sticky notes on my computer when I'm doing a presentation or when I'm doing a training that says, remember to smile, because that energy is contagious. Again, it falls in line of making somebody feel good. When somebody feels good and you have that energy that they want to be around, guess what? You have that connection and you will make more sales. Third tip I have on connecting better with your prospects online, and this goes even for offline, but I do 100% than in my business online. You want to connect with your prospects through story commonalities, okay? Connect through story commonalities. So whenever somebody shares something with me, I try to think about my story bank, and I'll leave an episode in the show notes of where you're watching or tuning in, and I will leave it. I did a whole episode on how to create a story bank that you can pull from when you're actually having conversations, because not only is this a really good strategy to like have that deeper connections, you can make more sales with your prospects, it's also a really good strategy to overcome objections. So having a story bank is really important, and always be thinking on your toes. So if somebody is that I'm talking to and I say, hey, where do you live? And they say, oh, I live in Canada. This happens all the time. Now, I'm from Canada. I live currently in North Carolina, but I am totally like a Canadian through and through, right? So when somebody says they're from Canada, I go, oh my gosh, I was born in Calgary, Alberta. Tell me a little bit more about your place. Or if I know the place and maybe I've traveled there, I'll say, oh my gosh, I've been there. I totally love, insert whatever genuine compliment that you can give about where they live or what they're into. Maybe you have common hobbies, and maybe you can pull a story. I was talking to a prospect the other day and I said, hey, what do you like to do for fun? And they said, well, we just got into pickleball. And I go, funny story. Oh my gosh, my husband and I play pickleball. We're not all that great. Well, I'm not all that great. My husband's amazing. I'm still very much learning. But funny story, my mom got me into pickleball. My mom's an enthusiast. She lives down in Florida, and that's, I swear, what she does, like morning, noon, and night. She eats, breathes, and lives pickleball. And that's how we were able to get into it. How did you get into pickleball? I'm always curious. This is always a fun sport for me. So I'm pulling commonality, like we're having that commonality, and then I'm building a story around it. I could just say, hey, yeah, oh my gosh, I play pickleball too. And then it just ends. There's no like connection that is made with the human race unless you tell a story. So the stories are the most powerful way to do that. So when you're talking to somebody, you're asking them questions, you're finding out a little bit about them. Is there a story that you can pull that relates to what it is that you're sharing, so you can build that deeper connection with your prospect online? Okay, so if you're watching this right now and you're like, well, Tanya, these are amazing strategies to build those deeper connections with my prospects online, but I just like need more people to even build those connections with. I need more people connecting with me about my products and services. Well, guess what? It's kind of my specialty. In the show notes below, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite free trainings that you can tune into, and you can pick a day and time that works. We typically do this training once, sometimes twice per week. So just pick a time that works best for you. You can head over to tanyaaliza.com/class to also get registered for free. But basically, I take you behind the scenes of my multi-million-dollar brand and business, and I show you how I'm attracting perfect, ready-to-buy buyers and customers and teammates, high-quality teammates, in fact, through this system that I've actually created that you can actually watch the training and go back and model into your business as well. So if you think that that would be of interest to you and valuable to you, definitely go and check it out at tanyaaliza.com/class. And again, I'll leave a link in the show notes or the description area of where you're tuning into the show. I hope that it immensely helps you, as it has hundreds, if not thousands now, of people that have been through that same training, just in different modalities. But I've put a brand new training together that I think that you'll absolutely love. And we host it once, sometimes twice a week. All right, so here's a little action step. Take a sticky note out, or 3, and write these 3 connector strategies together so you can connect better with your prospects online, obviously with hopes that with having those deeper connections, you will make more sales. If you like this episode and you think it would be helpful to any of your people or anybody that you know, make sure to share it with them. There's a share button somewhere around this episode where you're tuning in. Share it with them. I'll be most grateful that you did. We like to highlight the people that share as well, or leave us a really great, awesome comment below and let us know what you loved most about it.